Probably, yeah, I'm just gonna hold it. I'm honestly, bro, I'm just gonna hold it in my hand, and then as I'm freaking talking, and I'm about to introduce this book that I'm about to put y'all on, cause I'm just gonna I'm trying to give y'all sauce, man, for real. I'm really trying to give y'all sauce. What's going up, T? What's going on, T? I know it's cold out there. I'm already knowing it's cold out there, dog. I'm already knowing it's cold out there. But what's it called, bruh? I really want to come out, because first and foremost, my homeboy be telling me like, dude, you need to be. Yeah, I know it's cold. I know it's cold. My dog be telling me like, bro, you need to do more lives. So I was like, you know what, F it, bruh. Like, I'll go ahead and do more lives and see how it goes, for real, for real. But for the most part, I really just wanted to put people on with this book, man. Really, the fellas, dog. I'm really trying to put the fellas on with this book. Hopefully, it just stay right there, man. I might have to go to a TikTok shop and get the little camera placer. But I'm already knowing, for some odd reason, I don't know why a lot of people don't read. For some odd reason, I know growing up I did not like reading. I'll tell you that straight up. I know growing up I wasn't into the reading, wasn't big on reading books whatsoever. But really, I started really liking reading after college. And I kind of figured that, like, I like reading things I'm actually intrigued about. So at the time, there were things I would like to read as far as articles, and it was mainly about the sport that I was partaking in. So I understood that I did have a thirst for knowledge. I always do. I tend to ask a lot of people a lot of questions. But as far as reading just wasn't really intriguing to me at all, really, until, like I said, really after college. So thankfully, a couple years after college, thankfully, I was a teammate with one of my homeboys. His name is Yuli, bro. And he's doing a killing right now, like, just doing what he's doing as far as just promoting a really good lifestyle, nutrition, like, as far as, lifting, that sort of deal. So for overall fitness, he put me on this book, man. And this is for the fellas. I mean, ladies, you could read it too. Like, it's not really, I know the title is kind of, you know what I'm saying? But, dog, The Way of the Superior Man by David D. I think I'm gonna pronounce it right. Dita, I don't know, bro. I ain't gonna catch you. I don't know. I say David Dita. Whenever someone asks me, I say David Dita is the author. But anywho, dude, there is so much. I wrote so much in this freaking book, man. I wrote so much. And this really helps me even at the end of chapters. I kind of give like a pretty much an overall summary of what the chapters and how I interpret the chapters, and as far as me gaining the knowledge and stripping it from it. I write a lot, and I advise people to do that. When you do have, I'm a big guy on hard copy books anyways. I know people got Kindles, or I know the iPhones have, the Apple library, and that's okay too. But for me, that just gives me more of and I like to write. I like to physically write down a lot of things for myself. But man, I want to put a lot of the dudes on specifically just because I learned so much from this book. I'm definitely going to read it again. I do have a few books that I need to read for myself. So I'm trying to challenge myself to read at least. I read this book. I'm definitely going to read it again. I do have a few books that I need to read for myself. So I'm trying to challenge myself to read at least. I read 6 books last year. Trying to challenge myself to read really up to 11. Like, necessarily means thinking about a lot of us just do, right? And that's just, it could derive from our emotions or whatever the current circle. A lot of us just do, right? And that's just, it could derive from our emotions or whatever the current circle, right? And that's just, it could derive from our emotions or whatever the current circumstances are. Think about why we're doing what we're doing, right? And so as far as reading this book, it teaches you about that. It teaches you about how to think, right? Why you're thinking from a deeper level. A lot of us dudes, man, I know, guys, you guys are more susceptible when it comes to girls. So I'm gonna try to break it down in that sort of example. A lot of y'all wonder why, like, a girl thinks y'all boring. Like, no, seriously, like, this is gonna be one of these moments. A lot of you dudes wonder why a lot of these females think you're boring. There's nothing intriguing about you. Like, when they sit down and have a conversation, women love to talk. They are by far the most talkative creatures out here, bro. They love to talk. But as they're trying to get to know you, you're very surface level. You know what I'm saying? You're very surface level. There's nothing really intriguing about you. There's no sense of depth. They can't really strip anything out of you as far as getting to know you overall. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, and again, this also talks about that. It talks about women as well. So obviously the polarity, the male and female, and the overall attraction and the overall feminine sexual essence. You know what I'm saying? So bro, fellas, I know a lot of y'all dudes, I know y'all love smoking weed. I know y'all like smoking weed. Y'all like taking pictures at the gas station with y'all fit that you've been wearing for the past 7 times this year. Like y'all just like doing, I don't want to say pointless stuff, but there could be other things that you guys could be doing with your time that could be very effective and cater to you. You know what I'm saying? So I'm saying all this to say this, bro. I feel like personally, after reading this book, I feel like from a mental standpoint, and I care about my mind so much. I care about my mind so much, and I advise you men to really care about your mind as well, a lot. Just because as far as what you're getting exposed out here in a social setting and also social media as well, people formulate your way of thinking for you, which is not good. To me, I call that a modern day drone. You are a drone if you do that. But when you read books that are absolutely profound and captivating, it forces you and encourages you and captivating. It forces you and encourages you to elevate your way of thinking. It does. It really does, and I admire it. It really does, and I admire it. I admire it, bro. So, again, I want guys to, if you guys can get it on, if you guys can't get like a hard copy, I mean, Amazon. Mark, why aren't you talking about drama and doing this? Me personally, I don't care. I don't really care too much about it, personally. Just because I feel like for me, if I continue to elevate my mind, sharpen my skills, I feel like I'm going to influence the next person up to change those atmospheres or change those environments. You feel what I'm saying? So I feel like utilizing my platform, I noticed that a lot of people actually do tune in and listen to what I say. And for me, I didn't even notice that. I just thought like, okay, I'm just casually posting. You know what I mean? And obviously I'm posting with a sense of substance and intentions, right? But at the same time too, you know, there's millions and millions of people on this planet that like, people got their own lives. You know what I'm saying? And surely do I. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time too, I think about if I were to look back at my life, what have I, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time too, I think about if I were to look back at my life, what have I not only gather and obtain the knowledge, but also retain it. You know what I'm saying? And reading books helps that a lot. It helps that incredibly a lot. I think I read a study that says as you get older, there is a mental decline. So obviously with you getting older, instinctively, you're going to be slower. Physically, you're going to be slower. Older, there is a mental decline. So obviously with you getting older, instinctively, you're going to be slower. Physically, you're going to be slower. So wealthiest guys out here, he reads a lot. Charlie Munger, who actually, I know him and Warren Buffett were like best business. He reads a lot. Charlie Munger, who actually, I know him and Warren Buffett were like best business. He also was a lawyer and had his own law firm. I did some research on the guy. Like these guys read a lot. These guys read a lot, bro. They read a lot, and you know it doesn't always have to be something pertaining to life. I do read a lot of fictional books too, just to keep my mind, just to keep the creativity, that gear, to keep it going. But at the same time too, I do love knowledge, bro. I thirst for it, and I'm sure there is a lot of individuals out there that thirst for knowledge as well. But for me, that's what keeps me going. And I didn't realize it till my manager actually told me like, hey, like I noticed the one thing about you that like I could see in your eyes, you thirst for knowledge. Like that's something that keeps you going. And I didn't know it until probably 6 months after he told me that statement. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm definitely like that, bro. Like I am totally like that. But like I said, man, definitely be into books. I definitely encourage, like, I really do encourage the black community. Like, just, you know what I'm saying? Bro, go invest a couple of dollars in trying to learn something. You know what I mean? From a mental standpoint. Because that's one thing that people can't take away from you. They can't take knowledge away from you. They can't take it. It's something that you've already absorbed and you already retained, right? And yes, you could disperse it amongst the community, but they can't just be like, hey, give it back. You feel what I'm saying? Like, that's just not how that works. You know? So I always encourage people out there to go out there, bro. Go find the books. Go find something that you're wanting to learn, wanting to be more passionate about, wanting to have a deeper insight. A lot of people love to talk, but they lack substance, bruh. A lot of people love talking, but they lack substance. They don't really hold any sort of value. But as you gain knowledge, you develop value because not many people have access to that. You feel what I'm saying? So, like, I could sit here all day and break this book down. Like, I could literally have a session, probably go chapter by chapter, do it one chapter per day and break this book down. Now, I'm going to encourage you guys to do it yourself. You feel what I'm saying? But what I've gathered from this is not only that it helped elevate my way of thinking, right? Not only that it helped elevate my way of thinking, but even my perception on women is slightly different. You know, it's actually kind of slipping right here. Let me fix it up. But even my perception on women slightly shifted. Not in a sense from good to bad, but in a sense from like good to better. You know, now I understand women from a different lens, you know, and there's more to women than meets the eye. I feel like social media just kind of gives us the more exterior, surface level sort of aspect to women. But when you decide and take it upon yourself to really invest your time and dig deep and figure out like, okay, what is this individual really about, bro? It really fascinates you. It really fascinates you. And you develop and build rapport that way. You feel what I'm saying? And I learned all this from simply reading this. Like this, I keep telling y'all boys, this is gas. This is equivalent to smoking marijuana, I promise. This right here, I know TikTok, you probably might not like me talking about like drugs or anything like that, but it's a herb. Anyways, and it's homegrown. And it's natural. But anyways, fellas, this right here is equivalent to smoking weed. It's gas, I promise. This book right here, it's equivalent, bro. It's fire. This is fire. This is gas. I want to put y'all boys on, bro. Listen, I'm giving this to y'all boys for free, gang. Like, I'm really trying to encourage y'all to really get on this wave and get y'all right, man. You know what I'm saying? Y'all be wanting to self-improve. And I literally sit there and watch y'all. I watch what some of y'all do, and it's the same stuff. There's not necessarily any sort of self-improvement. Bro, take the time to listen to most motivationals, listen to influential people, like sit there and listen to podcasts, maybe not have a visual video playing, but literally sit there, listen to podcasts, and then read books, bruh. Like, these are 4 things that I typically do, that I do on a daily basis, just to keep my mind sharp, bro. Like, that matters to me. Like I said, my mental intellect matters to me, and it should matter to you as well, bro. So a lot of you dudes that are just sitting there and just casually allowing your days to pass by, that is wasting time. Like, I hope you know that. That is wasting time. Now, I'm not saying that you can't have fun. Like, bro, best believe I was in the clubs for sure. You best believe. And guess what I was throwing coins on the ground. Yeah. Best believe I was in the clubs for sure. You know what I'm saying? I was having me a little, couple shots here and there for sure. Best believe listen, in college, I was having fun for sure. You know what I'm saying? But, and this is post JUCO, obviously. I definitely not have that much fun in JUCO at all. But like, bro, like, as you get older, bro, that's what matters. What do you have to provide, not only from a financial standpoint, but from a intellectual value standpoint? You know what I'm saying? Like, do you hold substance? And people tend to ask me, like, how are you so good at being social and very interactive, and they like your demeanor, your aura, how you carry yourself? And it's from stuff like this, bruh. It really is. Like, no lies. From stuff like this. Now, granted, a little bit of the majority of the sauce is definitely me. Full hundo, Me, that's what they call full hundo, full bills, AW, always working, always wise. That's what they call me. For sure, majority of that, 90%, that's your boy truly. You heard me? That's your boy. God just blessed me like that, man. I really feel like God was just like, hey, fellas. We're just gonna put a dash of humor, you know what I'm saying? A little bit of just a little bit of charisma. We can't give him too much, just a little bit of charisma. And then like, we'll make him low-key pretty smart. You know what I'm saying? And and let him have the ability to articulate and express his thoughts. Boom, send him off, guys. Good. I feel like that's what God did. Like, you know, I feel like that's what the Most High did. You know what I'm saying? But what also helped me with with not only me personally, the book, but also my experiences too. So I feel like my experiences going to many different states, seeing the environment, meeting different people, seeing how they think, how they interact with others, having an in-depth perception of like how life really orchestrates outside of me. So not necessarily a perception, but the perspective, like outside of me, bro, like that's what helped me become more interactive with people and help me become more social. And I don't really get social anxiety like that really. Unless if it's something that I'm not really familiar with. If it's not a topic that I'm not well versed at, then yes, there's not going to be much said from my end just because, well, for one, I'm not well versed at. I have no experience nor knowledge about it. But once I do, best believe I'm gonna share my thoughts. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time too, like I said, some of those thoughts and experiences are read through here. And like, let me share. There's some chapters I was like, bro, this is freaking dope, bro. Okay, I didn't write anything there. Let me see. That might be profound. Let me see. Okay. So page 84. Oh, this one's actually good too. I might. Okay. So this. Okay. So I'm gonna share a few things with you guys and I'm sure the ladies are probably gonna also like this, since I know women love. So for all the lover girls out there, if you're tuning in, go ahead and just have a keen ear to the information I'm about to disperse to you. So on page 84, on The Way to the Superior Man by David Dita, right? I highlighted intimacy is a choice between people who want to commit to loving and serving one another. Now, the reason why I wrote that, right? The reason why I highlighted that aspect to that book, well, for one, my perception on love and relationship in itself, I thought in any relationship, I thought even in a romantic one, right? I thought, what can I get from my partner? You know, and that's the wrong way to think about it. You shouldn't think about it like this. And a lot of men and also a lot of ladies do think like this. What can I get from my partner, spouse? And that's not the way to think about it, because not only that, whenever you're always receiving, you're not necessarily giving back. So you're not even pouring in. You know what I'm saying? So you're always receiving, your cup is full, but do you know how full or how empty your partner is? You know what I'm saying? So learning how to not only commit, but to serve one another. So I remember hearing this from Morgan Housel. He wrote the book The Psychology of Money, and he talks about intimacy as well. He says, man, like, bro, you never lose when you're constantly giving. You know what I'm saying? And within constantly giving, there's no sense of expectation from your person. So you never lose, right? So let's say in a situation, you're with someone, right? From a romantic standpoint, and you're always giving, you're always pouring into them, right? Without having that perception of like, okay, now I'm waiting to receive. You're going to build a sense of regret or sense of resentment towards them, just because maybe their way of giving is a little bit different than how you perceive love is from your way of receiving. Does that make sense? So if you're constantly always giving and that person also agreeing to also serve you, there's always this natural flow of just giving and serving one another. So I honestly, I highlighted that down because it was profound, and that's not how I used to think. You know what I'm saying? There was this other There was this other, oh man, this is actually a little bit personal, but I'm going to go ahead and share it. So chapter 18, the title says, tolerating her leads to resenting her. Now, this is very, for me, in my history of just dating, right? And I don't count, like, I take legitimate dating to me like high school and on. I don't count like no middle school, no elementary boo-boo stuff, all right? I notice at times with former partners, I would tolerate like either mood changes, certain behaviors, the way their tonality, how they would speak to me. I'll tolerate it, and then gradually I would resent them for it. So to have this hidden grudge that I've never really expressed just because I wanted to keep the quality and the peace of the relationship. And overall, that's not the right thing to do. That's I wouldn't recommend any dude, let alone any. I tend to notice women do that. They tolerate whatever their partner, their spouse is doing, and I don't think you should ever do that. I think you should always be very vocal about any sort of discomfort that you're receiving from your partner, and there's always a way to deliver that. You know, a lot of people are scared about, you know, talking to their partner and telling them like, hey, this is how I'm feeling. I don't feel as comfortable about this, da da da. And it's like, if you don't feel comfortable to tell them how uncomfortable you feel, that's not someone that you should be with, right? And again, this is all stuff that I'm learning from a book that teaches men about a better way of thinking, how to elevate themselves as a man. You feel what I'm saying? And also teaching you and giving you a little bit more of an insight of the femininity, sexual essence. You know what I'm saying? So I read this chapter because it was very profound for me, and it was very relatable because that's something that I did. So as far as what I did right towards the end of the chapter, damn, I don't even know if y'all can see. So I definitely write towards the end of the chapter. I always write in my books just to help me not only understand what I'm reading, but also help me to retain because it's in my words. So it's not somebody else's words that I'm gathering and try to comprehend, if that makes sense. So I wrote down, learn to embrace her moods, her inconsistencies, her frustrations, and such, etc. Similar to a roller coaster, there's highs and there's lows. You filter it all out and you grow alongside with her. Be patient. Don't tolerate and proceed to solve with pure love, humor, and affection. So the book also tells you in those moments how to, I don't want to say maneuver, but what is the way towards a solution to that as well. So the book is very expressive about in tough situations when your girlfriend is upset. Depending on the severity of the situation, right? Depending on how severe the situation is, introduce humor. You know, be very playful. Be loving. Like, these are all beneficial ways of solving a problem. Why? Well, for one, it loosens the tension. It eases it up, right? Two, it helps her become a little bit more open-minded just because, well, he's approaching it in a loving way. So then she naturally, instinctively puts her guard down. Again, depending on the situation. I don't think she's going to put her guard down and she found out you cheated. like, she's not going to put her guard down, dog. You know what I'm saying? But if it's one of those things that, like, okay, let's say you've been living with each other for a year and a half, and she's been telling you constantly, hey, take out the trash, and you still haven't done it. She comes back from work, and she's telling you, hey, take out the trash, and then she's upset, and you notice the shift in mood and the demeanor. Not only that, gentlemen, you should do what your girlfriend's telling you what to do, especially if she asks you multiple times, right? Not only should you do that, but at the same time, too, bruh, you should not only do that, apologize, and then show her that you do care about what she's asking you to do, and that you don't take it personal, and that you're not showing that you're upset or frustrated. You feel what I'm saying? But like, bro, when you read books like this, bro, I'm telling you dudes, I'm telling you fellas, man, it helps expand your mind and your mental capacity. I feel like personally, I got like 1% smarter just by reading this book, man. Just by reading this book. And like I said, like, as far as my relationships with others, either romantic or platonic, reading this book helps me maneuver in those relations, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, like I highly encourage people, just, bro, be a student. Like even when you're living this world of life, and being amongst your family and your friends, also continuously be a student. People think school stops when you're done with college, or school stops when you're done with high school. No, school doesn't stop, bro. Life is a teacher. Life will be a long lasting teacher. You know what I'm saying? So as you're going through life and going through your own personal experiences, also grab experiences from others. My best knowledge that I've also received were from what people would tell me, and I just document it in my mind. Like, so whenever I do come across it, right, I'm already like a few chess moves ahead, because I was told that 4 years ago. Now that I'm presented, it's either, I'm gonna sidestep and allow that situation to bypass, or I'm gonna capitalize on the opportunity. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, like, reading is very pivotal, bruh. Like, when I look at all these successful, like, I'm not really too big on like trying to reach billions of dollars and millions of dollars. I don't really care, man. I think for one, God has given me a lot of things, like the ability to breathe, the ability to see, taste, hear, touch, smell. Like, I have functioning limbs. Like, I have a wonderful family. So I already feel like in my mind I'm rich. I already feel that way. You know what I'm saying? Now, obviously, I do think the finances are they're gonna come along, right? But I don't have this deep aspiration to become a billionaire. But that's besides the point. But when I do see these billionaires, or these guys that have big fortune companies, however you say that, these big corporations, some of these guys read a lot, bro. If that does, and it might not be necessarily this book, but this book in particularly, but it could be about like data analysis, right? Understanding just overall business. What's the market looking like? How times are changing? What are new advances? What is the community doing? What is the environment looking like? What does things look like the next 2 years, 3 years? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I bet you they are reading into that. They're gathering data, and they're not only analyzing it, but they're obtaining and documenting it, and then further promoting improvement. You know what I'm saying? And that's what life is about, bruh. That's literally what life is about, dog. You know what I'm saying? So if you're one of those that's want to take your life to another level, bro, I highly encourage you to start reading books. Start reading tons and tons of books, because it's gonna help you get you there, and it's gonna put you in spaces, and it's gonna help you be like. People love to talk about how articulate and how well spoken I talk, which I do, which I've definitely been working on a lot. I've been working on that a lot, and I definitely do appreciate when people do say that. But that also came from writing. That also came from reading a lot. That also came from what I've said in my mind. So these constant daily conversations I have with myself. So when I do get in spaces and have those sort of conversations in whatever room, I personally feel like I could be in any room. I feel like I could be in any room, no matter what. Who's in there? What's the occasion? How many people? Like, I feel like I could be in any room. So I could be utilizing slang and lingo with the boys, but at the same time too, I could go be in a business attire, having a conversation and keeping it professional. You know what I'm saying? And that's all stemming from this, bro. That's all stemming from this. So that's my little, you know what I'm saying? That's my little 2 cents, dog. So for those that tuned in, I greatly appreciate y'all. It's nothing but peace and love. I'm always trying to give gems to the community, and I want to inspire plenty. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what matters to me. That's my overall purpose. I feel like my overall purpose is not only to utilize my way of articulating and expressing myself, but help to inspire others. You know what I'm saying? I'm really good at encouraging and rallying. For some reason, whenever I do speak, people often listen. I don't know why, but I think that just shows how much of value that people from the outside are viewing me, which helps a lot. So, hey, man, y'all stay blessed, though. You know what I'm saying? Y'all stay blessed. Listen, if you with your shorty, y'all boys, if y'all with y'all shorty, man, give her a nice, you know what I'm saying? hey, like, you never leaving me type vibe. You hear me? Like, you never leave. You know what I'm saying? And then shorties, if you got you a good dude, like solid, I'm talking about like straight solid, like he pay for it. Listen, shorty, listen, ladies, if they not paying for your nails, hit the DM. You know what I'm saying? I get you some real homeboys like that, or men that pay for nails easy. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so shorties, if you got yourselves a good dude, like solid, like real deal, please treat him right, bro. Listen, it's wicked out here, okay? Please just do him right.